object. I'll show the explanation and all. This method will give you, this function will give you the thread information. It will give you some pair of elements. Thread name will be coming. That is called a main will come. Plus whose ID will be coming. Whose running ID will be coming. Running ID. This running ID is not a permanent. This ID will be going on changing, depends on the memory management in the memory. So this ID is permanent. Suppose when you are going to participate in running race, every runner will have one ID or not. Is it a permanent ID? No. So that ID will be going on changing. So let me show you one small example under this. Current thread is used for obtains name of the thread which is currently running, By default, which thread will be running? Come on, main thread. Yesterday I said that concept only. So go to the program now. I'll go to the Python program. Simple. So I'm going to give you program for, yesterday I said, once again I'm showing program for getting currently executing thread. That is nothing but indirectly I'm telling about current thread example dot py. Come on, fast. The module to import threading. Come on, threading dot current underscore thread, which will give you what? T. I'm giving T. Just to look at. Just I'm printing T. What it will print? It will print the thread name plus its ID will be printed. Thread name and its ID will be printed. Okay. Now let us execute this example. Let us follow. Go to the place. Here I'm going to take a save this example. Coming to the command prompt. Here I'm going to take a E colon. So there I'm going to write it. Python here 11 a.m. So threads I'm going to take it. There I will take it. Py. Here I'm going to write it. It is going to print main thread and started. This is called thread number, running number. That is no use at all, students. Remember in the mind, it is going on changing. That ID is no need to bother about it. We need to bother about what? Right. This entire thing is available into the left side variable called what? T. This T. From this T, this is available into the left side variable called T. From the T is an object. In that object of thread class, I want to get it. There is an attribute called what? Name. Like a cursor object is containing the result of database. From that, I want to get what? Row count. I will use it. Next, I will use what? Row count. Next, I want to get metadata. To get metadata, which attribute we used? Which attribute? Very good. Description we use it. This is called row count, description. These are all called attributes. Very, very important attributes. Like that, we are having an attribute called what? Name. So what is I am writing here? Default thread name or currently executing thread. Currently executing thread is equal to comma T dot name I am going to say. Execute this. I'm going to get currently executing thread is equal to what? Main thread. Are you getting me? Main thread. In another way, if you want to get this thread, yesterday's class, if you remember, I'm writing. Don't remember yesterday's class in the sense, in place of T, what I can write it? Threading dot current thread. I can do. So I will take it. Threading dot current thread, I'm going to write it. Threading dot current thread. Dot what? Name. So I'm going to get it. This T is equal to what? Threading dot current thread. So instead of getting something like that, I can directly write like this or not. Yesterday I was written something like that. So online students, execute it. I'm getting what? Currently executing thread either this way or this way you can do. Are you following? Right. Online students, is it clear? Next, I will go to one more kind of thing. What is the next one? Active count. What is an active count? The name itself says that active count. How many students are sitting in the class, for example? 100 students are there, for example. How many of them are actively responding? That is called active count. Currently executing threads are nothing but active count. So I'm going to enter into that. So this function is used for obtaining number of threads which are actively running, which are actively running, actively running. That is known as what? Active count. How do you go for it? Threading dot the function name active underscore count, active underscore count, module name dot function name. So how to give it? Go to the program. I'm going to write it directly. How can you prove that there is only one thread in the Python program? Program for this program for getting actively running threads. Actively running threads by default. By default. And programmatically also I will show you. Import threading. Now I am going to write it directly in number of active threads. Number of active threads is equal to threading dot active underscore count. Active underscore count. Print of by default number of active threads. Number of which threads? Active threads is equal to comma no80. Number of active threads. Execute it. Here I am writing active threads. Active threads example1.py. Example.py. Example.py. Save this code. Go to the place. Threads here. Right. Here I'm going to py. Number of active threads is equal to 1. Whose name? You want to print the name? So name by default thread name or default executing thread. Already you know. Default executing thread. Default name of thread. Default name of thread is equal to how do you print? 1. Threading dot current underscore thread dot name. Name. So you execute it. You are getting the thread name plus whose count is 1. So this makes you to understand by default there is a single thread whose name is called main thread. Clear or not clear? Clear. Online students, is it clear about it? Respond. So don't take much time because already we have a lot of experience in understanding modules and functions and everything. Come to what? Class name. I'm going to the class name. What is the class name now? Thread. What is the definition of class? For NumPy. Pandas. When I'm going there, totally whoops features are going to come. Totally whoops features. Right? Without whoops also they can tell like outsiders. That's why NumPy will complete only in 2 to 3 days. So the value of that student is paisa. 1 NP, 2 NP, 25 paisa, something like that. Below 1 rupee. Below 1 rupee, who will not take these days? Who will not take? If we give 1 rupee to somebody, they will look at who is this. Last Sunday, every Sunday morning, I will go to temple. Morning. Compulsory. At any cost. There, if I gave 1 rupee to one, looking like this. ఏం కాదు తీసుకోండి 1 rupee 100 people are giving 100 rupees now. So ఇంకొక ఆయన ఉంటాడు అఫీషియల్ బెగ్గర్ ఉంటాడు అక్కడ అక్కడ బోర్డు పెట్టుకొని ఉంటాడు పెట్టుకొని ఓన్లీ 5 రూపీస్ ఓన్లీ 5 రూపీస్ ఆన్ టాప్ ఆఫ్ మిన్ ఎంఐఎన్ ఉంటుంది మళ్ళీ పైన మినిమం 5 రూపీస్ అంటే కాస్ట్లీ బెగ్గర్ దట్ ఈస్. సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ దేర్ స్టైల్. Relaxedly sitting. They will bring dosha, idli somewhere else. They will eat comfortably sitting there. I gave 1 rupee. like this is no problem. Next time I will not give that also. Because we are not that much rich now. We came for praying something. But these people look at like that means we will lose our peace of mind, correct? So without giving anything, they will not look like that now. By giving something, they are looking in different way. So like that. Come to the point back. Thread. What is the definition of thread? Flow of right. So flow of control. And నేను అది కాదు అడిగింది. Thread class. What is the class definition? Class is a collection of data members. Pujita, very good ma, very good girl. What I expected, she said correct. Pujita, good girl. Class is a collection of data members, methods, constructors, and a destructor. Destructor only. Destructors no. Only destructor. Because there exists a single destructor. Do you have constructors? Yes. Default parameterized. You know that entire concept, you know. That is the one sweet memories. Is it sweet memory oops concept for you? Hmm. I don't know. Maybe you are saying sweet memory because Sari is sitting in front of you. But you did not remember anything I know. Do you remember oops concepts? Remember, ma? Remember. చెప్పండి అమ్మా మీరు ఉట్లా ఎట్లా చూస్తా ఉంటే కుదరదు ఇక్కడ డూ యూ రిమెంబర్ ఆర్ నాట్ రిమెంబర్ కెన్ ఆస్క్ వన్ క్వశ్చన్ వద్దు బాయ్స్ రిమెంబర్ సో ఎందుకని మీరు సో కమ్ టు ద థ్రెడ్ క్లాస్ ఇన్ థ్రెడ్ క్లాస్ వాట్ ఆర్ ప్రజెంట్ డేటా మెంబర్స్ విల్ ప్రజెంట్ methods will present, constructors will present. So I'm writing all of them one by one. Please follow me. Thread of, I'm going to write it. Target comma arcs. First point. Second one I'm going to start about start. Third one I'm going to start about. This is the first one. Second one, this is the start. And the third one I'm going to enter into that. Set a name. Set a name of str. And the fourth one is called what? Get name of like that. Fifth one is called what? Is underscore alive. And the sixth one is called the last one, join. These are the things which I want to go for it. And these functions I want to go for it now. This I want to discuss. First one, don't take much time. What is the class name? Thread of. Can anybody can tell what is this? Can anybody can tell what is this? ఎందుకు మీరు అసలు నాకు అందుకే చాలా కోపం వస్తుంది మీరు చెప్పకపోతే టెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఏ కామా బి వాట్ ఇస్ దిస్ వాట్ ఇస్ దట్ ముద్దు parameterized constructor it is. It's called what? Parameterized constructor. T1 is equal to test of 10 comma 20. 10 comma 20. What is this is now? Parameterized constructor. Muddu, go to the place. Here, E colon, 11 am. Go to oops. Under that, constructors. Under that, constructors. Under that, if you go to it, parameterized constructor. Here, parameterized constructor. If I go to this place, init of AB, test of 10 comma 20, object creation makes the PVM to call parameterized constructor implicitly. This is the one implicitly calling parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Here there is one more thing. Here you have default and parameterized constructor, which I said to you clearly. This is a parameterized default constructor, parameterized keyword arguments constructors. See B is equal to A is equal to etc. Today in the same manner, if I look at thread of target comma arcs, it is called one type of parameterized constructor. What is the purpose of this constructor? Now I am writing the syntax. So I am going to write it. Subthread object 1 is equal to threading dot thread of thread of target is equal to what I need to write? Function or what? Method. Function or method name, comma, args is equal to value 1 comma value 2 comma so on comma what value n. Value n I'm going to write it. Value n. Students, carefully try to understand. Subthread object 1 is equal to threading dot thread of target is equal to function name or something. So what is the use of this constructor? It creates it. First of all, in this case, what is happening? As I was mentioned already, in this case, if you go, because of this statement, what is happening? Object is created, object is created and initialized with what values? 10, 20. What is the use of constructor? Initializing the object by creating an object. So object is created, immediately initializing the value. If I don't initialize the value, what values will be there inside the T? Empty. How do you print that emptiness? Underscore underscore dict off. That you know the total story. So this is creating an object and initializing with the value called what? 1020. Same manner. If I come back to my statement also, this is going to create what? Subthread. Subthread object is created and initialized with which type of a function the subthread has to execute. Yesterday, square function, cubes function, hello function, welcome function, etc. function. Yesterday's class, if you look at, I will go to this place only threads. Yesterday's example I will open. Subthread example flow, I will open it. Here you observe it. This is the one I want to show you today. T1 threading.Thread target is equal to welcome. What is the meaning of it? I am creating a thread object and a targeted to execute which function? Welcome function. So this is a welcome function which contains some block of statements, which is executed by which thread? T1. So T1 is an object of which class? Thread class, which is targeted to execute which function? Welcome function. And T1 is an object here whose default name is thread 1. T2, what is the T2 again? Another subthread is created, decided to execute which function? Hello function, whose name is what? Thread 2. T3 is an object of which class? Thread class, targeted to execute what function? Hi function, whose name is called what? Thread 3. So what is the purpose of this constructor? What is the purpose of this constructor? It creates subthread. It creates subthread or subthreads and initializes initializes hmm, which function which function which function to be executed by subthread. That type of creation to be taken care. So how do you get the concurrency? How do you get the concurrency? Yesterday's example, if you look at the process based example, if you look at thread based example, if you look at, there I am having how many functions are there with me? Methods are there. 4 functions are there. How many subthreads I created? 4 subthreads I created. Each subthread is executing what? My function. So how many subthreads I have to create? How do you create the subthreads? By using which type of constructor? Thread of target comma args. Why args required? If any function takes a parameter, in this case, in our case, it is not taking any parameter. It is not taking any parameter. That's why I'm not writing what? Args. One more example yesterday. One more example yesterday. If you look at subthreads flow with the time, subthreads flow with the time, square of taking list, cubes of taking list. Come on. T1 object created, subthread object created, targeted to execute square. Square is required to take one parameter that you are passing to arguments. Already you know arguments are nothing but what? Parameters to be passing to the function definition. Through which argument? Args argument you are passing. It is after all keyword arguments here. So I am going to create a subthread. I am going to create a subthread by using which kind of class? Thread class. by specifying target and what? Args. If the function will take the parameter, you take args. If the function does not take any parameter, no need to write what? Args. Is it clear? Right. So, online students, this is more clear for you. Can you respond it? Is it clear for you people? And I'll show you the fair notes for you once. You just look at. So instead of typing it once again, students, I'm going to show you here. Observe it. Thread. Threading module contains global variables, function names, and then what? Class names. Current thread. A detailed notes for you. This function is used for obtaining the name of the thread which is currently executing. Variable name is equal to threading dot current thread dot name, which will give you here name is one of the predefined attribute in threading. And the next active underscore count. This function is used for obtaining the number of active threads, nothing but running threads. Threading dot active count, variable name, it is an integer type which is getting printed. Already you know, variable name is nothing but what? NOAT, number of active threads, which is getting printed. Come on, don't take much time. Come to which class? Thread class. Class name one. What is the class name? Thread. Thread of target comma args. The syntax variable name is equal to threading dot thread of target is equal to function or method name. Args is equal to value 1, value 2, value n, and close the bracket of this entire thing. Where I'm going to write it. Start with this constructor is used for initializing subthread in such a way that subthread must execute a target function by carrying args value provided function takes parameters. If the function in simple words, the above syntax create subthread. Why do you create subthread? To get the concurrent execution. If there are four functions are there, four subthreads I will create. If five functions are there, how many subthreads I will create? Five. If I don't create five subthreads, how many threads will be there? Single thread will be there. What is its name? Main thread. Yesterday I shown you main thread flow only. Subthread flow also I shown you. Which one will take less time? Subthreads will take very much less time. Come on. Example. T1 is equal to threading dot thread of target is equal to welcome. T2 is equal to threading dot target is equal to square args of. I'm passing list of values. Are you passing that? List of values, comma. Comma indicates it is a tuple representation only. Tuple representation it is taking. Here, T1, T2 are called what? Subthreads, whose default names are thread-1, thread-2. Are you okay? This is a very, very important point here. Clear or not clear? Clear. So, after creating the subthread, you see, after creating the subthreads, next what we will do? What we will do? Once the subthreads are loaded, the targeted to execute the functions, they are supposed to dispatch. Simple. I called three people here. I said, you do this function, you do this function, you do this function I assigned for you. You said, okay, sir, we will do, you said. But I need to say what immediately? Start doing, I need to say. I need to dispatch the threads. Dispatching means what? Sending to the target function. In order to send it, there is one function is there. What is that function name called? Start. Come on, what is the function name? Start. How do you do that? Subthread dot start, subthread 2 dot start, subthread n dot start. The dot start. Because of this dot start, what will happen? This method is used for dispatching the subthreads to the target function. If I don't say start, what will happen? Function will not execute. Function will not execute. Just a small example. Just a small example. Look at that. Program for program for demonstrating program for demonstrating what function? Start and subthread. Start and subthreads. So I'm going to take it. DEF, I'm going to write it. Here I'm writing one function. DEF welcome of. I'm going to write some type of value. I'm going to take it. Value print of. I'm going to write it. I'm going to say something like this. Welcome to multi-threading. Welcome to multi-threading. I'm going to write it. Welcome to multi-threading. Here I'm going to write it. Dot format of I'm going to print value. Value I'm printing. Here I'm going to write it. Students, now I want to execute through threads. Now I'm going to execute through threads. What I will do? T1 is equal to, come on, don't take much time. Already you've seen yesterday, today also coming across. Threading dot thread of, what is this now? Target is equal to welcome. Target is equal to welcome. And args is equal to, I'm going to write it. You should not send like this. It is going to give you what? Error. It is called which type? String. But what is the syntax of args? Tuple. Tuple. So I need to mention like this. Is it a tuple? Is it a tuple? Come on. No. Online students. Is it a tuple? No. It is which type? STR. Already said in the beginning days. మనకేం గుర్తుండవు అవన్నీ ఎప్పటికప్పుడు మర్చిపోవడం తప్పితే ఏం లేదు. సో లైక్ a rolling stone gathers no mass అని, when the roller is going on rolling, there is no mass is gathered over there. It's not like that. Student life should not be like that. What we are learning it should be always carry forwarded. That is called student meaning. So not only you, majority of the people are like this now. So you see that what is the type of that S comma type of S, which is called str. If you want to make it as a tuple, you have to say comma like that. It is called a tuple. It is called a tuple. That is what it is taking tuple representation only. Comma you need to write. Then it is going to print. What is this now? Execution status of execution status of execution status, or I can say execute this program. Execute this program. What is this now? Start start method start method example dot py. Start method example dot py. So with our yesterday's class, we already shown you. Again, I am going to show you here. Py. What is happening? Here threading I will take it. Import threading. Import threading. So I'm going to execute. No answer is coming. No answer came. Here, in order to get the result, definitely I need to dispatch the subthread. Definitely I need to dispatch the subthread. When you say start, what is coming? Hi Rosam, welcome to what? Multi-threading. So this is a message which is getting carry forwarded, I think so. I think you are going to get this concept. Are you getting it? Right. Now I'm going to say, without starting the thread, see that, remove once again, no output is coming. You have to compulsory say what? Start. So how do you create a thread? By using thread parameter as constructor. How do you dispatch the thread to the target function? By going for what? Start. Clear? Right. Online students. Now we are getting start. We are getting it. One more function I want to tell you. How to set the name to the thread? How to get the name to the thread? What is the thread name actually? Program for demonstrating how to program for setting the thread name, program for setting the thread name, and getting the thread name, getting the thread name. I'm going to get it. So coming to the point back, here I'm going to enter into welcome to multi-threading this value. Here I'm going to get it. Thread object is created. Here, what is T1 is called? What is T1 is called? Come on. Come on. What Prasanna is saying already explained in childhood days only. Don't try to read out. మీకు doubt ఉండొచ్చు like a Prasanna, but I don't want to concentrate on that because it was already explained. I will see after this explanation. T1 is called what? Subthread. T1 is called what? Subthread. And whose name is what? Madhu. Thread-1. Thread-1. How do you get the name of the thread? How do you get the name of the thread? Start for a few minutes, you keep it aside. T1 dot. There is one function name is available called what? Get name. What is the function name? Get name. As on today, the get name is, as on today, the get name is deprecated. Deprecated. Are you following that? Deprecated. Deprecation means what? Changed. Deprecation means what? Changed. Older thing is changed to what? New thing. It is changed. So answer will come, but you will be getting some type of warning message will come. So I'm going to write it T name. I'm going to say print of what? T name. I'm going to say. You will get that deprecation warning will come at line number 9. So let us save this code, execute. So I'm going to write it. This is set get method example.py. Set get method example.py. So there I'm going to write it. So I'm going to take up how this is going to print. This method is deprecated. You instead of using, we will use one attribute called a name attribute. That's a modern approach. Go to that. Try to understand. Py. You see now what is the message? Deprecation warning is going to come. What is the deprecation warning? Get name is deprecated. Get get the name attribute instead. That is, instead of using get name, try to use what? What attribute? Answer is coming. Answer is coming. But it is an error is there here. We don't want to use it. Since we have that function, that's why I'm using. So I will eliminate. Here I will write it. Not recommended to use. Not recommended to use it. Not recommended to use. How do you use it then? I'm going to write it. T name is equal to T dot T1 dot. What I'm simply writing? Name. Simply I'm writing T1 dot name, which will give you the name of the thread. You see, execute it. What is the name printed? Thread 1. Welcome. What is the thread 1? It is the name to the object called T1. How do you print this? If you want, I can write it. Come on. Default subthread name. Default subthread name is equal to Mudhubabulu. Are you okay? మీకు ఏం అర్థం అవట్లే. Print of what is this? Default that is program execution started. That I already shown you yesterday. Program execution started. I'm going to write it. Started. Name of the thread. Name of thread. What is the name of the thread? I said already. Threading dot current underscore thread. Current underscore thread dot what? Name. This name is a very useful attribute. So this is going to print what name here? Main thread. What is this T1 is called? Subthread. That subthread is called what? The one. What is the name printed here? Main thread. Main thread will monitor what? Subthreads. That story already completed in the last class only. Try to run. Execution also ended with the same thing only. Execution also ended with the same thing. So ended. Execution ended here. So I'm going to write it. Set and get name. I'm going to take. Py. So I'm going to write it. Program execution started. This is called a main thread. Program execution ended. Name of the thread main. Default subthread name. This is called a thread 1. How to give your own name? This is a default subthread name before setting. Before setting. Now I'm going to set the. This is called what? Getting the name of the thread. How do you set the name of the thread? There is a function name called what? Set. Set to get. There are two methods are there. Set means what? Change the value of the object. Get means what? Getting the value from the object. They are called setters and getters we can call. With the Java terminology, old terminology we can call. So how do you do that setters and getters here? Now I'm going to get it. How do you set? T1 dot set name. This method also deprecated. What is this now? I'm going to write a KVR. KVR is the name of the thread I am setting. This is a deprecated. Already you will get a deprecation message. After getting, I want to get it. Default subthread name, or I will write subthread name after setting, after setting, after setting. How do you get that setting name? T1 dot, T1 dot name. Deprecation mark message will come. Execute it. So you got the name KVR. But what is happening? You see, set name is deprecated. Set the name attribute instead. You use the name attribute. So instead of calling this T1 dot, you do what? Not recommended to use. So the overall syntax is what? How do you set T1 dot name is equal to KVR? Like this, you do it. Are you following? This is a T1 dot get name right side, getting the value. Left side, I'm going to set the value like this. Execute. Now see that. What is the default name beginning? Thread 1. Later, thread name after setting is called KVR. Main thread will be same. Main thread is monitoring which thread? KVR thread. So how to create subthreads you are understanding. When I say start, and that will be getting started. I think T1 dot start. When you say T1 dot start, what will happen? You see, hi Rosam, welcome to multi-threading. So this concludes how to use set name and get name. Online students, now you get it, this kind of thing, module name, you come to this set name and get name. Start. Subthread object dot set name, user friendly name to the subthread. Get name, variable name is equal to subthread object dot get name. Here set name and get name methods are deprecated in the present version. These methods are deprecated on the name of which attribute? Name attribute. What is an alternative syntax, students? What is an alternative syntax? Subthread object dot name is equal to user friendly name to the subthread. This is nothing but which concept? Setting the name of the thread. Thread subthread object dot name only. That is called getting the name of the thread. Setting the name of the thread and getting the name of the thread. That is called set name and get name. There is not that much seriousness about that coding, and this is easily, I hope so, you are getting it. Are you following me? Here also, by default, I already applied a name attribute. Today also you are setting how to get the name, how to set the name also we got it. Online students, is it clear about it? Seema Prasanna, that was very old story. That was already we tried in explaining that concept. In tuple syntax, it is represented that non-iterable object. This is called non-iterable object. That is called a fundamental value. But it is iterable object. That's what you must read my notes so thoroughly. You must read my notes so thoroughly. So I will go to your place because it is my time waste when I am going to talk about all those things. Because if you don't remember, you will try to rub on my brain. My brain will not take it as it is because it reflects and it gives you counter attack directly. So you need to accept it because you go to the place. My notes will be everything for you. If you don't read my notes, almost becoming zero only. So go to the place. I will go to the place here, tuple data type, tuple data type. Go to the syntax number 1, syntax number 2, Seema here. You can see now. Prasanna, are you there? So this is syntax number 1. This is syntax number 2. This is syntax number 3. This is syntax number 4. Observe it. This is syntax number 2, 3, iterable, non-iterable. See how many are there. What is today's concept? Today's concept is this concept we are using, this concept we are using, this concept we are using, this concept we are using non-iterable object. Whatever you are going to pass iterable object, that is going to be taken as what? I'm converting here. But there it is mentioned in the form of what? Arcs is equal to, arcs is equal to, when you write like this, only single value, that is not a tuple. This is called what? Whatever the value you write inside the double quotes, that will be taken as that type only. It is not treated as a tuple. You need to write a comma. Already I wrote it. So many examples here. So many examples I wrote it. Here it is an str, tuple type. Here also I mentioned it. Here also it is called integer. Also integer. How to mention it? Like this I mentioned it already. What is the examples? Already it is available. I hope you are understanding if you are there in the class. Okay. So come out of that. Now go to the place. Prasanna, are you there, ma? Are you understanding that? Right. Now coming to this set name and then get name is available. Because to learn anything, previous knowledge is very important. If you ask me, definitely I will show you where I taught. If I try to show that, it's my time waste. So set name and get name methods are for what? Setting and getting the methods. So and you are understanding that part. And next, I will move to the next function. Next function, I will go for it. The next function is related to the is alive function I am going to give you. Is alive. What is the meaning of is alive? Returns true when the thread is executing. Returns true when the thread is executing. Thread is under execution. Returns false. Returns false. Not under execution. Not under execution. When it is not under execution, can you tell me? When it is not under execution, can anybody can tell? When the thread is created, not yet started, that is called false. Thread completed the execution. That time also called what? False. Best example. Best example. Go. Now I am going to take this method. I am going to give you one important example here. Now see. Program for demonstrating is alive. Is alive. So is underscore alive and on subthreads. So I'm going to write it is alive. Is alive. Example is alive. Example dot py. There I'm going to take the same function and I'm going to say T1, this one is over. Before starting, I'm going to start. Thread is just created. I want to go for dealing this. What is this now? Is T1, is T1 under execution? Is T1 or I can write like this. Execution status of, execution status of, execution status, status of subthread T1, subthread T1, subthread T1 is equal to T1 dot, what is the function name? Is underscore alive. It is going to give you what? False. Is it a false or true now? False. False. Because it is not under execution part, not yet started. Save this code and see this now. Go to this place. Execute. Go to this place now. Py. It is the execution status is false. Why false? It is just created, but not under execution. It is just created, not under execution. It is called what? False. Just a BTech completed, not doing any job. What is the execution status? False. BTech completed 4 years back, no subject. What is the execution status? False. Now I am going to say T1 dot start. T1 dot start. Once you say start, the main thread dispatching the T1 to which function? Target function. What is the target function? Welcome. Now I will print execution status of subthread T1. What is this now? Before, before which function? Start function. Execution status of T1, T1 subthread after which function? Start. Who will execute the main program statements? T1. Who will execute the main program statements? Start. 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 Main thread. Already yesterday only I said. Who will execute main program statements? Main thread. Who will execute the functions? Subthread. So, who will measure the execution status of your subthread? Who will determine the execution status of subthreads? ఏమీ లేదు. ఎందుగా మీరు జస్ట్ టైం వేస్ట్. యూఆర్ కమింగ్ హియర్ యెస్టర్డేస్ నోట్స్ చదివేది లేదు, పోడలేదు. సింపుల్ గా వస్తూ ఉంటారు ఇక్కడికి. మెయిన్ థ్రెడ్ రేవతి, గుడ్ గర్ల్. పూజిత, వెరీ గుడ్ గర్ల్. యూ కమ్ టు వన్స్ టు ఆఫ్లైన్. ఐ వాంట్ టు మేక్ యూ టు షో చైల్డ్హుడ్ డేస్ డిసిప్లిన్. మిమ్మల్ని అందరిని లేపించి ఇట్లా కొట్టేసారు మొత్తం అందరిని. తెలుసు కదా, when we were the students, like this we used to have school days. When we don't like somebody, if you say, it will be like this. Anybody, if I don't say any person who don't like me, they will beat, because that type of competition was there when we were in the school days. Nowadays it is stopped already, all those things, but we need to keep that. Yesterday's class, if you open it, Pujita and Revati, come to offline class once more, because I want to show what is the real picture to these guys. So here, come on. When program execution start, main thread initiated by PVM, and the role of main thread is to execute main program statements and monitor the execution status of subthreads if subthread present. More powerful notes is mine. You have to read that notes. Without reading, you can't do anything. మీకేం రాదు అప్పుడు చదివినా కూడా. సో who is going to execute who is measure the execution status of subthreads? Main thread. Why? Main thread is executing which statements? Main program statements. What the answer is going to come now? True. Why true? Because it is started. Started means what? Executing this function. Who's this? What is the status? True. Execute that. You see the answer now. Before start, what is the answer? After start, true. Who is going to measure the execution status? Main thread. By calling which function you are writing? Is alive. Is alive returns what? True. When the thread is under execution. False. Not under execution. When I come to this place, here I wrote it. A function name called what? Is alive. Subthread the object dot is alive. This is used to check for checking the execution status of subthread. This function returns true provided the subthread is under execution. This function returns false provided the subthread is not under execution. This is related to the function called is underscore alive. So this is the statement is alive underscore things done. Now I want to go for one more kind of function called join. That is an optional, of course, to use it. But what is the significance of it? I want to tell you. Let me carry this simple syntax. Now I will go to the further. Online students, is alive function is clear. Is alive function is clear for everybody. Respond it. Now I am going to say demonstrating join. Join function I am going to tell. What is the importance of join? Take care, students. Now I am going to take up this kind of thing. T1. T1 here. Now I am going to write it. Program execution started by. Program execution started by. Here I am writing. Which thread? Main thread. Program execution ended by. Which thread? Main thread. Starting and ending by which thread only? Main thread. In middle of it, what was created? T1 thread. T1 thread. Next I am going to write it what? T1 dot what I am saying? Start. T1 dot start. Here I will write it. When you say T1 dot start, it will go to where? Welcome function. In that it is getting printed. Intentionally, I am writing T1 dot sleep of some 5 seconds I am going to write. Intentionally, I am making the subthreads to pause for 5 seconds. Pause for 5 seconds. There I am going to write it. What is this now? Subthread. Now I am going to write it. What is the subthread name? Is coming out of which thread? Coming out of sleep after how many seconds? 5 seconds. Dot format of what I'm writing? Threading dot current underscore thread of dot what? Name. Is coming out of sleep after how many? 5 seconds. Be careful. This is one situation I am creating for you. Time dot sleep of this coming out of sleep after 5 seconds. Now I'm going to say T1 dot start. Start the flow now. Start the flow. Now I'm going to enter. So first it will come to line number 3, line number 4 and line number 10. And it is printing which thread? Main thread is printed. Subthread is created. Start, it will go to where? Start, it will go. Then who is going here? Subthread is going there. And now who is executing main program statements? Main thread. Which one was dispatched? Which one was dispatched? English. ఏ thread పంపించారు? T1. Which thread is dispatched? T1. Mudu. Palakanడి. T1. When T1 is dispatched, main thread is waiting at line number 12 or it is continuing its execution. Generally, student will think that it is dispatched over there. It will wait until who will complete? T1 will complete. But it is called wrong thinking. Main thread will do its own activity. Subthread will do its own activity. It's a parallelism, I said, concurrency. So main thread will not wait at line number 12. It will execute. It will execute line number 13. When it is executing line number 13, still the subthread is under which one? Sleep. That means which thread is completing first? Main thread is completing first. Which thread is completing later? Subthread. This is quite against to the multi-threading programming applications. So who need to complete the execution last? Who need to complete the execution last? Subthread. Who need to complete the execution last? Main thread. Who need to complete the execution first? Subthread. ఏం రాదు, ఆపోజిట్ చెప్తున్నారు మొత్తం. Which thread initiation started with? Parent. And which threads are scheduled here? Subthreads. Subthreads are which purpose? లేవండి అందరూ ఒకసారి. Stand up all of you. వద్దు. Don't know anything. నువ్వు కూర్చోమ్మా. నువ్వు కూర్చో. సో ఎవరికైనా ప్రాబ్లం ఉంటే కూర్చోండి, లేచి నిల్చోకండి. సో సబ్థ్రెడ్స్, డోంట్ ఫోల్డ్ ద హ్యాండ్స్, మామూలు నిల్చోండి. మీ ఒబీడియంట్ చూస్తే నాకు బాధ అనిపిస్తుంది. ఒబీడియంట్ పనికిరాదు అసలు. ఇక గాంధీ ఏమన్నా మీరు? సో come to the point of it. What is happening? Which thread is started here? Main thread. What is the later it is started here? Subthread. Subthread. Subthread is started. And why subthreads are created? To execute the function x, y, z, etc. Who is decided to execute all these things? Main thread. But taking the help of which thread? So main thread is supposed to wait until it is supposed to receive the result back or not. That means he is a head for all these workers. He is a head for all the workers. So all the workers' work is completed, then only head has to leave the work, right or not? So our head only leaving the work without worrying about these workers. What workers' result becomes? Correct or not? So head has to wait until who will complete? Subthread. Or this way, you are a parent. You are having 3 kids, 4 kids you have, and you taken them to the shop. First shop, second shop, they went to 4 shops. You dropped them into the shopping. Will you come to home? Will you come to home? No. What you will do? You will wait there until they are going to join with you, right or not? You will wait there until they are going to join with you. Here also same thing. What is the first beginning started with main thread, ending with what? Main thread only. The middle what happening? Subthreads. So main thread is supposed to do what? Monitor the execution status of which thread? So what is the first beginning thread creates? Main thread. Who is the thread which is going to kill at the end? Main thread. In middle of it, what has to be cleared? Subthreads. In this case, what is happening? The main thread is created. The main thread is created, and then subthread created, and dispatched it, and after dispatching, the result is going to yet to come, but the result is still not yet come. But in this case, what is happening? When the subthread is dispatched, main thread is going to the line number 13. It is finishing its execution. After finishing main thread execution, subthread is finishing after 5 seconds. This result is quite against to the policy of multi-threading. So, starting point and ending point, who must be there? Main thread must be there. But here what is happening? Starting main thread is there. Ending, who is going to leave? Subthread. That result is called orphan result, we can call. Which result it is? Orphan result. There is a parentless thread it will become. This is not recommended. Parentless. Orphans means what? Parentless. This result is going to become orphan result. So such a type of result, if you want to get it, make the main thread, make make the main thread, make the main thread to wait until one until subthreads join. Subthreads join. How do you make it subthreads to join? T1 dot. What is this now? Join. T1 dot join. What will happen when you say T1 dot join? Thread is created, start, and then it is going to execute that, and it is going to do what? T1 dot join. So what is this join says? In this place, line number 14, who is going to wait? Main thread until subthreads join with whom? Main thread. Then who is going to ending? Who is going to end the execution? Main thread. If I don't join, who is completing the execution? Hmm. Subthread is the last one is completing. Before that, who is completing? Main thread. First, see the result. So it is very simple, but taking a lot of time. So join, join method example here dot py. So there I am going to take it, save this code, try to run this. Observe py, py. This is the one you are getting. I think time is all time. You go for this, go to this place, see that what is happening. Main thread ended. After 5 seconds, it is coming out of it. See, observe it. This is main thread execution started. Hi Rosam, welcome to multi-threading. That is subthread started its execution, but it is went to what? Sleep for 5 seconds. Meantime, who completed? Main thread completed. This result is becoming which result? Orphan result, which is not recommended. So this result is not recommended. This result should come when? Before main thread execution ended. So that time I will do what? Come on. T1 dot join. What are all the subthreads you joined it? Those subthreads to be joined before going to the main thread ending. So I said T1 dot join. In that case, what is happening? Main thread will wait until who is going to complete and join? Subthread. So finally, who is going to end the execution at last? So see the output of it. So not coming this result. So this will come thread one, it is coming out of it. Last it is getting completed. Observe the difference between two results. Arifale, in simple words, when you go to banking applications, your need NEFT, your government, what is the government salaries are going to be dispatching or some type of you only will take it. Suppose you are making a proposal that after going to deposit some money, you want to send that money to somebody else. That is your transaction want to do it. After depositing, who is going to deposit? T1 thread. T1 thread. Who is going to withdraw that money? T2 thread. Who is going to monitor the execution status of both of them? Main thread. So tell me what is happening here. Both the thread T1 started, T2 also started. After T1 start, when should I start T2? After joining. T1 dot what? Join with which thread? Main thread. Once T1 dot join means after completion of depositing, joined. That ensures that amount is deposited. Then what is going to start? Withdraw will be starting. Are you following me? This is called what is the significance of joining. Depends on the requirement, we need to go for it. Are you getting this now? Similarly, I'm going to take up. Here I'm going to sit down. So try to answer now. Execution status of execution status of execution status of which thread? T1 thread before start. Before start. What is the answer now? T1 dot. What is the function name? Is underscore alive. What is the answer will come? False. False will come. After start. Execution status of T1 after start. T1 after start. What is the function? Come on, answer. True. Execution status of T1 after joining. After joining. After joining means is it under execution? Execution completed? Come on. Completed. Completed means what is an answer? False. True. ఎవరైనా ట్రూ? నువ్వు హిమాలయాలకు వెళ్ళిపోగా ఇక్కడ ఏం పనిలేదు నీకు. సో ఆఫ్టర్ కంప్లీషన్ వాట్ ఇస్ ద రిజల్ట్? ఫాల్స్. ఇక్కడ ఉంటారు వాళ్ళు చాలా మంది ఉంటారు అక్కడ. నీకు ఈత బోధ చేస్తారు అక్కడ. కంప్లీటెడ్ అంటున్నా. ఇట్స్ అ కంప్లీటెడ్ ద ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్. వన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కంప్లీటెడ్ వాట్ ఇస్ ద ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ స్టేటస్? ఫాల్స్. బిఫోర్ బీటెక్ జాయినింగ్ ఆర్ యూ స్టడీయింగ్ బీటెక్? నో. నో మీన్స్ వాట్? ఫాల్స్. బీటెక్ కంప్లీటెడ్. ఆర్ యూ స్టడీయింగ్ బీటెక్? No. Before completion, before start, after joining. What is an answer? False. అది కూడా లేదు. జనరల్ నాలెడ్జ్ కూడా లేదు మీ దగ్గర. సో జాయిన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఫాల్స్. సో సీ ద ఫాల్స్, ట్రూ, ఫాల్స్. సో execute the same thing again here. See the output of it. Before start false, after start true, after joining. See execution are coming out of it. Execution status of T1 after joining false. Completed wrapping of the status of execution cycle of thread. So it is called created, whose status is false, started, status is true, joined, completed, false. Everything to be monitored by which thread? Main thread only. That is called join function here. Join function. Here it is available. This function is used for making the subthreads to join with the main thread after their completion of execution. Subthread 1 dot join, subthread 2 dot join, so on subthread n dot join. This is the function called what? Join off. I hope join function is clear. So what are the main important thing? How to create a subthread, dispatching the subthread, set name and get name we will use simply attribute name, is alive, and then what? Join function. This is the class called what? Thread class. Are you following? And how many approaches are there to deal with this? The functions and classes in threading module, and the examples of the things are over. How many approaches are there? Two approaches. One is by using functional programming, one more by using object oriented programming. How to go for functional programming? Just observe this example. This example only observe. If I want to go for writing any thread based application, first module is what? Import the threading module. Number 2, what is the next one? Define the function. Number 3, what is the number 3? Create the subthread. Number 4, dispatch the thread. How many approaches? 4. To write the multi-threading application, minimum steps are how many? 4. What are the 4? Import the module name, define the functions or function or functions, Next, create the subthreads and dispatch the subthreads. Example చూపిస్తాను. Last class I said. What today's class also I said. So subthreads example. Yesterday's class. Subthreads flow. Look at. What is the first one? Import threading. Number 2, define functions. Second. Number 3, create what? Subthreads. Next what? Start, start, start. Start, start, start. These are all called start, start, start. Number 1, number 2, number 3. These are all called number 3. Number 4. These are all called number 4. Did you understand why today joined here? Why joined? If I don't join, who is going to complete? Main thread will complete. So I am making the main thread to wait until who will join? Subthreads will join T1, T2, T3. Are you getting it? How many steps? 4. What is the first step? Come on, quickly. Import threading module and other modules if required. Other modules if required. That is the first step. Second step. Second step. Define functions. Define functions. Define functions with thread logic. Why thread logic I am calling today? The logic of this functions executed by threads only. Right? Number 3, create subthreads. Maybe one subthread or more than one subthread. Create subthreads. Number 4, dispatch the subthreads. Dispatch the subthreads. That's all. These are the steps for which programming? Functional programming. This is called functional programming. Already you know how to write functions and all. Already said. Object-oriented programming, I need to go for it. Simple. Object-oriented programming. By using object-oriented programming language, I will go for same to same. First step is same. First step is same. Second step, tell me. Second step, చెప్పగలుగుతారా? Fourth, fifth. Second step. ఏదదే ఏదో చెప్తున్నారు మొత్తం. Right. Mohammed, Sakib, good. Suraj Singh, good. So define a class. Define a class. Define class or classes. It is up to us. With define classes. Choose the programmer defined class. Choose the programmer defined class. Choose the programmer defined class. Choose the programmer defined classes. Class or classes. It is up to you. Next, what you will do? Define the methods. Define the methods. Methods inside of classes. Inside of classes. Inside of classes. We are going to define. So you know how to define the methods. How many methods you will define? Muddu. 2. What are those? Instance methods. Class level methods. ఇది తీసేసి మాట్లాడితే సరిపోతుంది. ఇవన్నీ దానికి మార్గం దేనికి? టాప్ రూట్కి. ఈ సిటీలో నైట్ 3 o'clock కూడా తిరుగుతూ ఉంటారు తెలుసా మీకు? 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock నైట్. వీళ్ళంతా ఆ బ్యాచే. ఏ బ్యాచే? వర్కింగ్ పీపుల్, చదువుకునే వాళ్ళు ఎవరు ఉండరు ఆ టైంలో తిరిగేటోళ్ళు. ఎవరు ఉంటారు? Different batch. So come to the point. Define the methods inside of what? Inside of what? Class. Inside of classes. I will define. Next I will do what? Create same subthreads. Create subthreads. Next what I will do? Dispatch the subthreads. That's all. How to do this? Now I am going to enter. Now I'm going to enter into the how to create the subthreads. Let us move to the further here. There it is going to be some function is there na subthreads. This part is there. Instead of that, I will take this part also. This is called subthreads like this. This is called which programming? Functional programming. Separate రాస్తాను ఒకసారి. So this is called functional programming. Actually, these are very easiest topic. Functional approach. So here I am writing functional approach. Functional approach example.py. What I'm going to do? Step number 1. This is called step number 1. This is called step number 2. Event kalipi step number 2. Functions. These are all called what? Step number 3. Step number 3. These are all called what? Step number 4. Step number 4. Now you see that execute functional approach. Functional approach. Now I'm going to take up execute. Go to the place py functional approach. Got it. Program execution started. Program execution ended. In middle of it, you have done your own threads. Which approach? Functional approach. Same program. I want to do object oriented approach. How to do? Look at. Do you like oops? Hmm? Do you like oops? Hmm? Yes, sir. ఎవరైనా oops? Yes, sir. Hmm. Come on. Oops. With the threads. That is called oops example. That is called by using oops approach. Approach example example1.py. Oops approach example1.py. I'll just save it and I will go for it. What my sir said that class. What is this now? Come on, sample. I said sample. These are all my functions. Belongs to what? Here I will write what? Self. Here I am going to write a self. Do you know self? What is self? Hmm? ఏదో మొత్తం ఏం చెప్తున్నారు ఏదో ఒకటి ఉంది వాట్ ఈస్ సెల్ఫ్ it is one of the implicit object used as a first positional parameter in the instance method. Since it is the first positional parameter, it is supposed to be accessed inside the same method body, cannot be accessed in other part of the program. That is called self. What outside people are saying chatta, self is a keyword they are saying. When you go to an interview, they will show you HD cinema for you. Even in the websites also, they are saying keyword, keyword, keyword. YouTube also keyword. BTech students ఏం చేస్తారు? They will listen these BTech classes by seeing YouTube. They will write exam. Exam you will pass. But when you go there, person like me will show HD cinema for you. Totally wrong, 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 wrong. A keyword, I will open the keywords and I will show is it a keyword? Will say no. Int also, people are saying that int is a keyword. Int is a keyword. Int is a keyword. What is an int? Class name. Muddu. Data type. మీరు కూడా ఆయన ఫ్రెండే. Int is a class name. Already I said you it is a class name. In the notes it is written. మిమ్మల్ని అడగడం నా పొరపాటు ఫస్ట్. నవ్వుతారు ఎందుకు తిడుతూ ఉంటే. సో కమింగ్ టు ద పాయింట్ బ్యాక్. Execute this. Step number 2, step number 3. Step number 4. Be careful. Step number 4. When you come to step number 4, welcome I am saying. This is called like a functional programming. But this welcome is not a normal function. It is an instance method. Instance method is to be called by using. Instance methods must be called by using. Instance methods must be called by using. ఎందుక మీరు మీ వల్ల ఏం లాభం అసలు? మొహమ్మద్ సకీబ్ గుడ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నేమ్ అది చూసేది చదివేది ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నేమ్ Object name dot instance method, self dot instance method. చూపిస్తాను ఒకసారి మీకు. So go to oops here, methods here, methods here, classes concept, types of methods here, instance method here, instance method. Syntax, all instance methods accessed with respect to the following syntax. Object name dot instance method, self dot instance method. భారత రాజ్యాంగం ఇది, మీకేం రాదు. So I need to call this with respect to object name. I need to call the object name. How do you call the object name? SO is equal to sample of. I need to write what? SO dot. SO dot. I need to write SO dot. I need to write SO dot. What is SO? Object of sample. It will go to sample class and looking for this one. This is an answer. See that. Execute. Now you are going to say, you say py. See this answer now. Got the same kind of thing. If I don't write this kind of thing, if I don't write this kind of things now, students, if I don't write those kind of things for you, which one if I don't write this object, if I don't write, if I don't write, next example I will carry the same methodology. Nameless object I will show. Nameless object. Here I am going to show you here. This one. If I don't write this object, if I don't write this object here like this, it is looking like a functional approach. It is looking like a function outside. This is a class. To execute, you need a method. You will get name error here. 2.py. 2.py. So there I am going to write it. Execute. See here. Execute this now. Writing here. Py. See that you got error. Name error. Welcome is not defined. Welcome is a part of which class? Sample class. I need to call or not? Earlier I called by using what? SO object created a called. Today I want to call nameless object. Do you know nameless object in my class? Sample of dot. Come on. Next what? Sample of dot. Dot. Next also I will write what? Sample of dot. Dot high. Execute. Save this. Perfect output is coming. Are you following? Nameless object already in the polymorphism I mentioned it. Go to that. I can define one more way also. I can define multiple classes like this. What is this now? This is a class sample one. This is called a sample one. Here I will write it one more kind of class. What is the class name here? Class sample two. Class sample two. There I am going to write it. There I am going to write it. In this place sample two. There I am going. Okay. So there I am going to write it. Class sample 3. Class sample 3. This is called DE of this one. High like this. 3 classes I am having. How do I write? Sample 1 of. This is sample 2 of. Sample 3 of. Sample 1 of. Sample 2 of. Sample 3 of. Execute. This is called 3.py. 3.py. So save this code. Here I am writing 3.py. Execute. Same type of output is coming. How many classes I am defining? 3. 3 methods. How I am calling? 3 nameless objects I am going to call it. How many threads I created? 3 threads. That means thread T1, there is a method called what? Which function? Welcome off. T2, there is a function called what? Hello off. T3, there is a function called what? Come on. Hi off. This is getting executed. One thread, one method. Last and final. If I open my last class concept, threads, if I go, there is a threads with a flow. Time I said here. This one you observe it. How many threads I am having? 2 threads I created. Thread T1 is equal to new thread. One thread, one function name. One thread, one function name. It is getting executed on its own. This is called which approach? Which approach? Muddu. Functional approach. Function 1, function 2. How many threads created? 2 threads. Dispatched. 2 threads. You can do with what also? Object-oriented programming also you can do. Object-oriented programming also you can do. How can I do it? By going for writing one class. That class name I will use it. That class name I will use it. Simply here I will take it. Here I will take it. So here I'm going to write it. Here I will write it. There is some example. This is called oops example 4.py. I think so. Oops example 4.py. There I will write it. Class. What is this now? Squares, cubes, squares, cubes. There I'm going to take it. Here I'm going to write it. Inside of it I will write self comma. Here I will write it self comma. Self comma. I wrote instance methods. How do I call now? This class I will call it. Here I will write it. How do I write it? Dot. Here I will write it. Dot. Cubes. Nameless object dot. Here you are getting it. Execute. Same. 4.py. So go to the place. 4.py. Go to the place here. Py. Oops example 4. This is going to be the same way. The names also I set. How I set the name? By using t1 dot name, t2 dot name, etc. I set. T1 dot name, T2 dot. Same time is taken in the last class also. So if you look at my code, how I am setting the name, T1 dot name yesterday, T2 dot name yesterday. Are you getting this? This is the way how you can define the threads. So in today's session, you understood by using functional programming, object-oriented programming, steps I will send you. Steps I will send you. Here I am having threads. Separate nodes is there. Number of approaches to develop the threads by using functional approach, by using object-oriented programming approach. Choose the class name, define the methods, create the subthread, dispatch the subthreads. Here also 4 steps. I will post this kind of answers for you. And all these things you need to execute. Tomorrow class when I come back, how to create multiple threads T1, T2, T3, how we dispatched you have seen. Separate threads, separate methods. Tomorrow I will go for what? Deadlock occurrence. Deadlock occurrence time I will go for which class I will explain? Lock class I will explain. Lock. How deadlock is occurring, how to eliminate the deadlock. Because of what deadlock will occur and how to eliminate the deadlock occurrence, all those things I will explain. So today we understood functional programming and object-oriented programming we have seen. But how to create multiple threads also you understood. How they are internally executing, how they are dispatching, how they are joining it, how they are measuring is alive and all those things. And tomorrow I will go for what? Deadlock occurrence. Are you following? If you practice well, then only you can get the coding. Subject also, if you read and practice, then only it will come. Without reading, only if you listen the class, things will not be in your favor. Remember always, anything it is. Right? First, we must have the intention of reading thoroughly, practicing thoroughly. Then only subject will come. Otherwise, it will not come to anybody. So, tomorrow I will go for a deadlock occurrence. We will go for it. And this class, if you miss it, it will be a problem. It will not start next 6 months once again. So try to attend this session. And sir, this time UI is there, HTML is there. HTML, it's not a that much important compared to this. HTML, even I can go and read. In bus stop also I can prepare well. HTML BG color is yellow, red, green, cyan, magenta. ఇది కాదు. You need to have good logic development, data analysis and analytics. You need to learn it. So there I'm going to talk about Google Play Store project, e-commerce analysis project, and employee salary report. Lakhs of records are there. How to process it? I'm going to explain. This is a unique class. No, but no YouTuber, nobody can explain. Almost I'm explaining 45 classes. YouTubers give YouTubers, all those things need to sit on the ground only. So utilize it. Don't move here and there. Understand all the classes. Thank you. Carry on. All the best. Online students. So any doubts are there? You hold on. I will go for having any doubts. I will clarify.